Okay, welcome to another episode of Writing an Office. Now it's the 30 days are done, so we have done a special evening of improving Joeffice. And today we're going to have a special guest. My special guest is Geertjan Wielenga, which is a specialist of the NetBeans Platform. And the NetBeans Platform, what is Joeffice based on, it's a big library, if you can say it's even more than a library, it's a whole framework where you can build your application. So it's include, but I think Geertjan can tell more about it. So, hi, Geertjan.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So, can you tell me what's more about the NetBeans platform?
Well, NetBeans Platform gives you a menu bar and a toolbar and all the basic GUI components and infrastructure and modular architecture that's made it possible for Joeffice to be created in 30 days. It really gives everything that an application needs except for what makes the application unique.
Even the installer is this include also the installer from their
installer, sure.
options about dialogues and you just need to write a specific part.
Anything that is generic, you shouldn't have to write. That's the NetBeans platform.
So recently, I think 2 weeks ago, about NetBeans 7.3.1 was released, and NetBeans IDE is a development environment for Java, which is also based on the NetBeans platform. Can you tell me more what's new about the NetBeans 7.3.1 and in particular to the NetBeans platform?
7.3.1? Well, from the NetBeans platform point of view, there's nothing really new. It's NetBeans IDE 7.3.1 is the development environment on top of the NetBeans platform. 7.3.1 is really aimed at providing the tools to help you create Java EE7 applications. So it was released together with Java EE7, together with Glassfish 4, and the aim is to give you tools to create artifacts that comply with the Java EE7 specification. So for example, if you want to do WebSocket development, if you want to use JSON in Java EE7, if you want to use the latest EJB specification, there are templates for that and there are editor enhancements for that. And that's really the focus of that release. Also, Glassfish 4 is bundled with NetBeans 7.3.1.
You've also quite busy. So recently you posted almost once a day a blog about an application based on the NetBeans platform. So it seems that not only Joeffice is using the NetBeans platform, but also a lot of other companies and other people are also using the NetBeans platform. Can you name maybe a few examples of them?
Well, there's hundreds at least that we know about. But NASA, NATO, Boeing, typically any large organization has multiple different applications, and typically large organizations have a lot of back office applications that don't need to be presented to the customer. And so often these applications are created on the desktop because they also need to be performant. They need to interact with the file system of the operating system. They need to be secure. They have authentication concerns like in banking and military applications. They need to be flexible because they have multiple different kinds of end users. So all of these kinds of concerns makes the NetBeans platform perfect for these types of applications. So that's why it's typically found used in large organizations.
Actually, there's also a showcase page where you can see a lot of screenshots of it. Yes. And if you read below this video or in the show notes of my blog, you'll see the link to the showcase and a link to the NetBeans platform application.
Yes, platformnetbeans.org/screenshots. And you'll see hundreds of applications, and it's continually growing. There's about 100 more that need to be added to that page.
And I've also, Geertjan is also very well known for his blogs that I'm also going to put in the show notes of this video. And it contains a lot of tips about the NetBeans platform or NetBeans IDE. And recently you also started to work about like another office based on the NetBeans platform. Can you tell more about this one?
I was definitely inspired by your work with Joeffice because I also saw that there were some comments from people saying, "Oh, great! You have this Office suite framework based on Microsoft solutions, but what about the open source counterpart to that, OpenOffice or LibreOffice now?" And so it's something that I know various organizations are using in their NetBeans platform application. And I wanted to make a generic solution so somebody could have a starting point. They wouldn't have to figure it out themselves, how to integrate LibreOffice. I think one different advantage over the Microsoft solution is that it's free. So you can take this application I created. It's called Scribbly, partly because it sounds like scribbly, like scribble, what you do
I will put a link also
there's a link.
to the project.
Yeah, there's a link to the project. You can get the sources. It works perfectly on Ubuntu at the moment. Still trying to figure out how it works on other operating systems, because the problem is that you need native libraries, and each operating system has different requirements for LibreOffice, and maybe some. I'm pretty sure Mac OS X won't be supported because of limitations in Office Bean, which is the underlying technology in LibreOffice, which lets you integrate it into your desktop application. But the idea is that this will give you a starting point for somebody creating an application that needs a spreadsheet or some document or presentation technology or whatever.
And the nice thing about it is it's like if you're having LibreOffice in your application, but instead of having one document, one window per document, you have it in tabs, and you can probably use docking with it.
Yeah.
And also you have also like a file browser next to it. And,
all the things that you have in the NetBeans platform. You have a docking system, you have a file browser, which is, for anyone who looks at it will know it's just a favorites window with a different string file browser, and the docking framework is just reused, and it's all these things that are reused from the platform.
And today, thanks to Geertjan, we also have done a few improvements to Joeffice. And the first thing we did was downloaded the release 7.4, the alpha version of it, that contains many improvements in the NetBeans platform part of it. So after installing it, I'm starting to use it with Joeffice, and the first part we've added was about the new dialogues. There's been a lot of complaints about the basic new dialogues that I had it in the first version of Joeffice, and it was because there was still no possibility to use the new dialogue of the NetBeans platform. Now they changed it that you don't require to create a project to use the new dialogue. So I've used it now based on the NetBeans 7.4 alpha release. That's more a daily development release. So here it is. Now you can select your template with it. You have a description to know what it is. And you can create, just like this, just a new document. You can choose your directory and so on based on it. Then I had also some problems with the previous version about Windows that was on the right side for the presentation thumbnails and the presentation notes. So now I've fixed it by just changing one parameter to it, and now the window automatically appears on the right side of the presentation. What else we've done this evening is something else that automatically comes with the release of 7.4, that alpha of NetBeans IDE, is that you can choose your look and feel. So in this case, you just go to the options, and then you can select from the dot box of the install look and feel. So I will show you some example with it. I've played a bit with Joeffice and different look and feels. So now you have like a metal dark themes I've done. Then you have like the standard what's called Nimbus look and feel, and the previous was the Nimbus dark, because this is metal dark look and feel. And you also have like I also work also on different. I have a lot of volunteers that wanted to translate Joeffice into other language, so I have a look how it's possible to do it. And actually also the NetBeans platform, which is what this Joeffice is based on, has also been translated in a few languages. So part of it is already translated. So I've decided to test it. And here we have, for example, Joeffice in Japanese. You could also have chosen Chinese or Russian or Portuguese for it. So here we are, and if I open a dialog, you'll see, at least if you speak Japanese, you'll see the Japanese from it. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this special evening of developing Joeffice for the next version. Bye.